Like you just said, I used to be a camper 10 years ago, actually. I was 9 years old, and y'all seen the pictures of me. Just this little nervous kid walking through the door. And now, I made a career as a motivational speaker, and I became an author. And I did a lot of things throughout my life. But, by any chance, have y'all heard of Michael Jackson? You know what happened today in 1995? He released a song, You Are Not Alone. Throughout your life, you're going to have a lot of times when you, sorry about that, when you want to achieve something big. Maybe you want to be the first person in your family to go to college. You want to become a lawyer. You want to become a doctor. You want to start a business. You want to do something that is so different than what you saw growing up. People are going to judge that. They're going to say, why do you think you can do that? There's going to be people who doubt you. There's going to be people who have all these bad opinions. But you have to remember, as tough as it can feel at times, you're not alone. And yesterday, you guys went to Still Rise Farms. So, think of it this way, right? Each of you have a seed inside. And your seed might be corn. It might be tomato. It might be basil. But if you try to be someone that you're not going to grow how you're meant to. During COVID, I got so bored that I was just trying anything. And I got into gardening. The way you grow a tomato is very different than how you grow corn. And that's very different than how you grow basil, or spinach, or cabbage, or radishes, or all that. But when you're trying to be, imagine this, you're corn. But you're looking over at the tomato, and you're like, they're doing so much better. They look so much better than me. They're so much smarter than me. And you ignore what you're meant to be. Now you're off beat. And you allow what the world has to say about you to squash your dreams. I don't think y'all just got the level of wordplay right there. But it's gonna hit for y'all one day. Yeah, see, he got it. I was in my room yesterday thinking of that line. In my head, it really was good. But as you're growing through life, right? Don't allow people's opinion of you to hold you back. Like, what's some of the goals that y'all have? Like, what's something you want to become? Yep. A boxer and be in the NFL?
Either or.
Okay. You ever heard the quote by Mike Tyson that everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth? Throughout your life, you're going to have challenges that come out of nowhere. When I decided I wanted to make a business out of sharing what I know to help other people, there were a lot of challenges I did not expect. Such as, I have an office down in Center City, and if I don't pay the rent for that thing every month, I'm getting kicked out. It just is what it is. That's a problem I didn't think about when I first had this idea. Or when I had to figure out how to set up a business bank account, and what it takes to be an entrepreneur, and time management, and how to handle stress, and how to handle my personal life, plus my business life, plus everything else I have to do. And when you decide you want to try something different, try something new, people will have their opinion, right? So, have y'all ever been around somebody and they always got something negative to say? Let's hear about it. Anybody want to share? You know, don't share any names or any personal details about these people. Just maybe it was a friend, maybe it was a family member, maybe it was somebody who had something to say. However, there are going to be people who have good things to say. There's going to be people who believe in you. There's going to be people who support you. There's going to be people who love you. There's going to be people who are trying to guide and teach you and help you. But for some reason or another, we tend to listen a lot more to the negative than we do to the positive. Oh, this person said something about me. They talking about me online. They saying this about me. But we don't pay as much attention to the people who say, I believe in you. Might be 1, 2, 3 people who say, good job on that. Keep going. But we listen to the hate comments. We listen to the people who doubt it. When I decided to start posting YouTube videos and start posting TikTok, I had a lot of people who started hating on me. But had I listened to that, had I listened to the people who didn't believe in me, I wouldn't be doing what I do today. 1 year ago, It was actually 1 year ago today, which is kind of funny. I quit my job where I was working in New Jersey selling solar panels. And I had to wake up at 7 in the morning, go all the way out there, and it was like a 2-hour bus ride, and I would get home at 11 p.m. at night. And I did this every day for 2 months. It was tiring. I learned a lot of great things while I was there, but I also learned what it is that I truly want to do with my life. Give me a second to drink this water. I'm getting thirsty. I learned that what I would have to do is I would have to literally knock on strangers' doors, talk to them, and convince them to buy solar panels for their house. That was my job. And if they didn't want to buy it, I didn't get paid. So Sundays, I would go out there for 11 hours and not make a single penny. Other days, I make a lot of money doing it. And that's how life is going to be. Not every day is going to go exactly how you want it to. Not every day is going to be completely perfect. But that's okay. Because you don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up and be the best you are today. My best today looks very different than my best next month or the last month. There's times when, as you're growing through life, people will try to bring it back down. They'll try to say, why do you think that you can be the first business owner in our family? Why do you think you can be the first one in our family to get to the NFL? Why do you think you can be the first one to go to college? You think that because you know it's possible. All those dreams that you have for yourself, all those things that you just imagine, you know, I would love to have that. I would love to be a millionaire. I would love to be the first one in my family to achieve something great. You think that because it's possible. You think that because you know you can. But then as you start working towards it, those doubts start to rise up. Those things like, oh, but what if this happens? What if that happens? What if people think something about me? What if it doesn't work? What if it does? The only way you'll know if it's possible is when you go for it. And when you have something like a tree is huge. You see how big a tree is? Like 200 feet tall. Have you ever tried to like push over a tree? Like try to knock it down? You can't. Because it has a strong foundation. You are not tearing that down. But there was a time when that tree was just a little acorn and it broke out the ground. And it's just this little twig. And somebody could have came along and just snapped that tree. Broke it right down there. And there will be times when you might share an idea. You have this goal, you have this plan, this vision. I want to achieve going to the NFL. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a motivational speaker. Whatever you want to do. You might share that with somebody and they try to just knock that over. You can't let that happen. You can't let somebody squash your dream before it gets out the ground. Because that tree that you see now, that is strong and it has its foundation, the reason why trees don't grow straight up, but they grow in like this bended pattern, and you have a twig going here and one up there, and it's bent like curved, that's because of the wind. As this tree is growing, and it's not fully strong yet, the wind is pushing it. It's bending it around. But the tree doesn't let that stop it from growing. It doesn't let the obstacles it faced early on stop it. It learns how to grow and how to adapt and how to evolve to that situation. Y'all ever play Pokemon?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, for those who have never played Pokemon, it's just a little game about these creatures. Eventually, they grow, they get stronger, they become stronger creatures. And then you like evolve and stuff. And what I'm trying to get at here is that we start off and we might just be this small little thing. You might be a little caterpillar. But eventually, the caterpillar grows. It turns into a little chrysalis. Okay, good. Thanks for the time reminder. Eventually, that caterpillar grows. It goes in its chrysalis, and it's got to melt itself down. That's a painful process. It's not easy when that caterpillar has to say, I'm going to go into the dark, and I'm going to work on me. I'm going to go here. I'm going to do what I need to do, build myself up. And it comes back and turns into a butterfly. Everybody wants to just go from a caterpillar to becoming a butterfly. We want to go and become a millionaire. We want to become a lawyer. We want to achieve that big goal. But in the process, there's going to come hard days. Tadpoles, another great example. Have y'all ever seen a tadpole? Okay, great. So a tadpole starts out with this little tiny egg, with this little ball of jelly. Then it turns into this little thing wiggling around. And then it sprouts the legs and hops out the water, and now it goes from the tadpole to a frog. It goes from living in the water to living on land. It goes from everything being able to take it down to now it's a lot stronger and able to get out the water. And when you're trying to grow, you're trying to develop, you're trying to build yourself up, you might be doing everything right, just in the wrong spot. You cannot place a cactus in dirt. A cactus grows in sand, a tree grows in dirt. So, throughout your life, as you start to understand what you want to do, as you start to understand whether or not you want to go to college, what kind of career you want, what goals you have to ask yourself, am I in a spot that allows me to do this? And if I'm not, how can I get to where I need to be? How can I get to the places that allow my gift to grow, that allow my seed to sprout, and that allow me to go from this little acorn to being this gigantic tree that has become the first millionaire in my family, that has become the first lawyer, the first doctor, the first engineer, the first one to make it to the NFL, the first you. Because there's only one of you. You might look at Beyonce or Kevin Hart or whoever it is that you're like, man, I want to do what they do. You don't need to be the next them. Be the first one of you. Because there is only one you. Believe in yourself. Go for it. I think my time's up.
All right, real quick, let's tell him he did a good job. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Good job, good job. Good job, good job. You know you did a good job. So say you did a good job. You know you did a good job. So say you did a good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. G, hello, J, D. Good job. Good job. All right. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Shout out to you getting all the way to the point where you singing good job to you.